Hey boys, welcome back to Puck and Stuff Podcast. This is episode 7 of Flames Talk. If actually this is really quick because we just made an episode and now we're back on it. Must been some
We're on
hockey
that
news
grind.
happening.
We're on that grind, man. I'm telling you.
The content is a booming. I like to see it. And this episode is also sponsored by A Man Can Dream.
Oh man, can dream that
Yeah.
Jonathan Huberdeau. We'll get into that
Jonathan
later.
Huberdeau. Oh, brother. I don't know how to feel about that, but we'll get into that later. T-Dog, we do have some other news, and I would like you to start us off and maybe get us off going with some other signings that have been going on.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get into some Flames talk, because that was pretty much the biggest thing I want to say the past few days was just Flame stuff in general, but there's a few other signings here. So we'll just get right into them. The Philadelphia Flyers signed Vancouver legend Zach McEwen to a 1-year, $925K deal. Great physical presence. I think that's great for Philly. That's typical Philly, right? To just sign some like big body presence.
Yeah.
Then here's one that I think all the north of Cowtown there would like is Kyler Yamamoto. He resigns for 2 years, 3.1 AAV, as well as in San Jose, Mario Ferraro. 4 years he signs with an AAV of 3.25 million. And then Miles Wood and the New Jersey Devils, they escape arbitration there, and he signs for 1 year, 3.2 million. So B-Dog, I don't know if any of those intrigue you at all or anything, but any
I think
signings
I think the biggest one on that you just mentioned was the Yamamoto one. Edmonton kind of got a little bit of a steal out of that one because based on his performance in the last little bit with Edmonton, he's showing a lot of potential and a lot of growth. And as a Flames fan right now, I'm really hating that. But 2 years at 3, that's a really good contract for him, especially at his age. If after 2 years, and then like we were talking about this a little bit before with him possibly already being a 40-point player, that could also bump up to maybe a 60 or a 70 if he is with McDavid. That makes it even more scary. And yeah, loving that as a Flames fan. But I honestly, good signing for Edmonton in that row. I'll give them that. But that was one of the big ones I recently saw, other than the Flames ones that we'll talk about later for sure. But yeah, I don't have much more to say other than that.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you on the Yamamoto one. It's just I guess the one thing is this is gonna look really nice come if he even steps his game up even more. I find his game might have been held back a little bit this year. I didn't see too much of a presence say come playoff time, but I mean you can't complain too much when I found the rest of the team really was kind of picking up their slack. So you see Yamamoto, if he plays up to that contract, which I really do think he will. Yeah, I don't think he plays with McDavid, of course, or I don't think he's even with the Draisaitl line either. I can't remember what the lineup was, but
You think he goes to a third line?
I think I think is what they're paying him for is for that kind of third line presence. So
I mean,
but him and like Hopkins and stuff, I think is going to be a decent is a good lineup matchup. So Edmonton has a lot of forward depth now, right? And now that they kind of have it solidified, they really are going with the same team, just added a goaltender. But I mean, I didn't see no problem with the Oilers last year, so I don't see it working out again this year.
I mean, yeah, they got they got Campbell back there, and I've heard a lot of the comments when we posted that one TikTok. A lot of people are really thinking Jack Campbell will just not step up. They think
Yeah, no, I
fine,
saw that.
and they think that's overpaid, and I was very shocked to hear that from a lot of fans.
I
And
can see the overpay, but it's like anything. It's like Stanley Cup players. People or players who just won the Stanley Cup. You have to overpay. Like that's just the market, right?
yeah,
And I
that's
feel like I'll be honest. At first, I was kind of saying this Yamo deal was a bit of an overpay. Not that crazy, but then again, I think that's what you have to kind of pay that money anyways. But then again, I'm looking at one season, and I do believe that I think you and me both believe that come next season, it will be worth the money. But they are
yeah.
minus $6 million in cap space right now. I'm just gonna look. They still have to sign Ryan McLeod.
Oh,
But I mean, of course, like a forward grouping of McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Hopkins, Kane, Yamamoto, Puljujärvi, Derek Ryan, Fogel, Matthias Janmark, Devin Shore, and Ryan McLeod. Not bad. Not bad at all, eh?
not bad,
Especially
not
like your
bad.
top six. So your top 6 is pretty spicy. So I could see Yamamoto kind of helping out with that. And he's young too, right? He's only 23, so
Yeah, he's only
there's
23.
potential.
There's tons of potential for him, but
For sure.
there's also, when you look at Edmonton's situation, you also got to look at their defense. They did lose Duncan Keefe. He did retire and gave them that cap space to be able to sign those players, but you lose a big veteran defensive presence. Like, obviously, Duncan Keefe was not in his prime, and he was old, obviously much older, and wasn't playing to his potential at all. But still, that's still a decently sized piece for Edmonton to lose on a defense that's already been struggling. Like, yeah, you sign Brett Kulak. Nurse will probably be 100%, obviously, start his season, but
yeah,
there is a lot of question for Edmonton's defense in this scenario right now.
Yeah, people think there's going to be a probably like a Tyson Berry trade.
Yeah,
I could see it. I mean, so 4.5 mil, so that would help your piece a little bit. Just take him out, and then, I mean, who else could you?
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to say who they
I don't
can
know.
get, but
I mean, they're gonna want to sign, and I would sign Ryan McLeod. I think. I mean, 22, right? He has a lot of upside too. I thought his work ethic. I don't know. I find his like work ethic on the ice is really good, and I found that kind of translated a bit in the playoffs, especially against the Flames in the second round there.
yeah.
So I think you're gonna definitely want to keep him, but yeah, Edmonton.
They might not be able to afford him at the same time.
No, I mean at the end of the day, Edmonton's in a good position, so I don't think it'll matter too much. But
That is very
we'll
true.
see how it goes. Another one for me, if we could just quickly switch around, is
Go
that
ahead.
Mario Ferraro trade. I really like. I think 3.25. I think he's underrated. I think he's one of those. He's one of the San Jose's best pieces and assets. I feel like if you trade it, I mean, if you were to trade him, you get a good amount. But let's see here on him. He's 23. He's a left-handed defenseman, and I don't know. If I'm correct, I think he played with Mark Edward or Carlson. But I just found like, cause like Calgary had a lot of problems with the Sharks this year, and I found he was one of those big problems. Okay, so now this season he only had 14 points, 2 goals, 12 assists. He was a -5. But of course, like I think he's just a stay-at-home defenseman. I think Sharks fans have a lot to say with him. He played 63.
Oh wow. Oh.
I don't know if he had an injury or not, but he played in the 2020-2021 season too, in the 1920 season. His highest point total was the year prior, where it was 17 points, a goal, and 16 assists. But that's a great signing in my opinion. I mean, let's look at their defense right now. Erik Karlsson, Mark-Edward Vlasic, Mario Ferraro, Matt Benning, Ryan Merkley, Jacob Begna, Marcus Nudavara, and Radim Semic. Decent assets, decent pieces right there. How that Karlsson contract must hurt. 11.5. Talk about bad cat. We're going to talk about probably bad contracts coming up here, but 11.5 till 2027, 2028. Oh boy.
Oh, I didn't know it was that bad. Oh my god.
And there was a time where Erik Karlsson was sought out. A time that is no longer here, but
can you imagine like a few years ago that people saying he was probably one of the best defensemen in the league?
Well, I think he was, especially come that 2017, not a cup run, but that playoff run.
That playoff run with Ottawa?
The Sens had, man, he was so dominant. He was just flashy on the ice, man. I mean, that mustache too, right? Like everything was going for him. It's just, I think I guess there was more than just hockey stuff, but Ottawa was in such a weird position after that. And I see why, all those players left, like Mark Stone and Karlsson and all that for say. It just has never worked out for Karlsson. And I mean, I would love to see his career go back on track, but I think for that to happen, he probably needs to go back to a team or go back to more of a contentious team for say.
Yeah, San Jose isn't really in any like condition to truly be a contender either. They're obviously on the rebuild. They sent off Brett Burns in the offseason to Carolina. Obviously, that was the first kind of telling to me is like, yeah, San Jose is on its way down. And you could possibly see Eric Carlson eventually getting moved in the next year or two. I wouldn't be that surprised if he does get moved, but it's going to be a lot of teams are going to look at that contract and just
Yeah,
his
who's gonna
track
want to take
record
that?
does not support that contract. And it's like, I feel like that's a Matt Murray situation, in my opinion, because you look at Matt Murray and he's 2-time Stanley Cup champion with Pittsburgh. And then since then, he kind of fell off the wagon. He got paid a lot of money by Ottawa, expecting to show that potential. It never happened. And now he had to take a salary cut or retain on his contract for the Leafs so they can afford him. And that is still such a gamble on him of just how he's been playing lately. So
Yeah,
I kind of see that in a situation, but I would love to see Eric Carlson bounce back, like become a
yeah,
top 5
100%.
again. I would love to see.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, he was always up there as people's favorite players and stuff, right? And it's kind of comes in with the market that is Ottawa and Canada in general. It'd be really nice to see it again. But honestly, with San Jose, I don't think they're gonna really. I mean, they'd love to, but I don't think they care. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna tank. They're gonna try and tank for Bedard. Do they get Bedard? We'll see. Come around next season, to this time next year. But I don't think it's their biggest importance. But yeah, definitely if he ever gets traded, sent off wherever, gonna have to be a salary retain. There's no ways. Like even Chicago would be like, I don't know, man, 11.5.
We just did that. Look, we just signed Seth Jones over here, and that was even steep, man. Oh my
That's not.
god.
It's funny because you'll look at Chicago, right, and it's like, oh, you know what they're doing, and then you see the Seth Jones contract, and you're like, you're rebuilding, right? Like, okay, it's weird, man.
Oh, then
But
next year you send off your two probably best potential stars off for picks? What? Oh my
oh
god, it
man,
was so funny. All this Chicago is just kind of a laughing stock in my opinion right now of the off season because they I feel so bad because send off two potential stars and now it sounds like Patrick Kane might want out. Probably Jonathan Taves might retire
I
based
want Kane to go to Buffalo. I
on.
would seriously, I would absolutely love that. That'd be
He's not going to
amazing.
Buffalo.
Isn't he from
Well,
the
he's
state
like,
of New
I'm pretty
York?
sure he's from around the area, but dude, have you
Let
seen
me see here.
Buffalo? Why would he? I feel like if he went to Buffalo, he would be in a worse situation than he is
Excuse
in
me, they
now.
have Tage Thompson and Alexander Tuck and Rasmus Dahlin.
I mean,
I like that.
okay,
And
I was actually,
Power.
yeah, that's true. Okay, I would possibly say by a little bit, not
Oh,
much, that Buffalo is better in a better situation than Chicago. Not by
Kane
much though.
Kane is literally was born in Buffalo.
Huh. Yeah,
There you go.
he's going to go to Buffalo,
Oh
isn't
no,
he?
I
He's
mean
going to go to Buffalo, isn't he?
I just want to see Buffalo succeed, man. I mean,
I think
I
we
think they
all
have
do.
pieces that everyone loves, and the fans of Buffalo are like hardcore, man. They deserve something. They got absolutely flaked out by, well, to be honest, the Big Oilers aren't the greatest at management, as
No.
well as our ownership. And um, you know what? Like, did Eichel snake them? I want to say it. Well, to be fair, that was their kind of ownership again. So
I
it's the
heard
ownership.
there was apparently a lot of locker room situation as well. And you even kind of saw it when the team started doing a little bit better once he got traded and everything. It was like,
They did.
oh, it was very unexpected with Jack Eichel for
Well,
sure.
but to be fair, I have to remember too, right? He was trying to get that shoulder surgery, right? And the
Oh,
management wouldn't
right.
let him. So I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they kind of soiled
Management.
it too. It was
Yeah.
kind of just not meant to be, I guess. But hey, man, it seems like better greener pasture days for Buffalo. So that's exciting. But speaking of bottom feeder teams, hopefully this team that we love, the Calgary Flames, they don't want to be bottom feeders for the next few years, as some people would like them to be after the departure of Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau. But we have a few signings. Oh, but even before that, we can even get into their farm team.
Oh, hell
Their
yeah, we
farm team.
can.
They got a new name.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
somewhat of a new name, but they're called the Calgary Wranglers. Now, of course, this pays homage to the old WHL team
I
that
love it.
was on the old stomping grounds back in the day. But hey, I like it. Logo's not too bad either. What do you think about the Wrangler name?
I'm really happy they went with the Wrangler name. There was tons of talks before when they got like when they basically said that they're getting moved to Calgary. The first rumors I heard was Calgary Wranglers, and they were trying to get the name, and I loved it. I couldn't imagine their AHL team being called anything else. Calgary Wranglers is like perfect. Logo's pretty sick. I gotta give them that. I saw some
Yeah,
of
I
their
saw
merch
that.
that they're selling, and I'm tempted. I'm
We'll have
tempted
to
to
buy
get
some,
something.
man.
Yeah, I would totally. I was even saying this before. I would love to get like a Dustin Wolf or Jacob Peltier jersey.
Yeah, that'd
That
be
would be
so sick,
sick.
man.
A Wranglers, Peltier or Dustin Wolf. Oh my god.
Yeah, up and coming Vezina candidate,
Yep,
uh
100%.
Dustin Wolf. I love it, man.
Franchise
Yeah.
goaltender boys right there.
Yeah, so the Wranglers were a WHL team from 77 until 1987. It's only 10 years, but pretty similar. You can search it up, but the logo was pretty similar. The Calgary Hitmen did have pay homage a few years ago to some of the teams, and they would play in the old arena, the Stampede Corral, and they had this jersey. So that was kind of cool. I want to
Oh,
see
you know
that
what?
up
I
and
went to
coming.
one of those games. I
Yeah,
went to
you
that
did.
game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
didn't you?
went
Yeah.
to they played in the Stampede Corral. It was retro night, so they changed it back to the Calgary Wranglers for that one night. I can't remember exactly who they were playing, but I saw the jerseys, it looks sick, and being back in the Corral, and it was amazing. It sucks it's gone now,
This has
but
been cool, yeah.
yeah, it was
Because like
a
that old
big.
school like vibe, like everyone's so close, compacted, only 5,000. Maybe that's why Arizona will work because it's so small and compacted. So I don't want to change subject. I just thought of that, but
I oh my god, I don't even want to talk about the Arizona situation. Let's just keep it for Calgary. We'll talk about that maybe in episode 30, but let's keep it to Calgary right now. We're in the flame stock.
anyways, Wranglers, great name, good merch. Honestly, man, I think we should try and get to the home opener. It'll be cheaper
I'm
than
down.
the Flames one, so
I'm down. Oh,
that's what
100%
I'm
down.
thinking, man.
Mhm.
But anyways, hey, man, fun to see. Well, signings. Let's get into them now.
All
Okay,
right.
so the big one, we'll say the last one, but we'll just kind of go through them, talk about them.
All
The
right.
first one that did happen was Oliver Shillington. He re-signed 2 years at an AAV of 2.5 million. Love this contract. I think it's a good deal. I really do think he has even more to prove, and I think he can get to that stage. Hopefully no injuries happen. That like concussion. Hopefully because concussion stuff's crazy. He's a trooper, man. I love him. I love him when he's playing with Tanev. I think that's who he'll play with. I don't know where Uyghur goes. I'd probably pledge Zadorov at the start because it's like you have chemistry with Hanif and Anderson. You have chemistry with Shillington Tanev. So I'm gonna guess that's what's gonna happen. But I love it. I feel like I've always felt confident in the D. In Shillington, I usually feel confident in. I don't see too many problems. He does give away the puck a few times, but I find he's really good on his toes. He's fast, he's agile, and I think him and Tanev complement each other well, and I think that really helps with the blue line. He's a gritty player, and yeah, I'm just excited for him to come back, really.
To be honest, I am as well. I really like the contract that we gave him, and this kind of gives Daryl Sutter a lot of room to play with now with his defensemen because
120%.
this whole summer, this probably whole fall coming up season, he's probably going to fiddle with most of those lines because yeah, you have those six, and you still have Valimaki and as a seventh man that
Yeah,
might be able to put him in.
but is
And
Valimaki even the seventh man, or is it Milosh, right? Or is it
it's so
Connor
tough.
Mackey? It's
Yeah, like
crazy.
there's so much you could do with it, and it gave Daryl Sutter a lot of room to play with his defense. So I think that was a great contract. I love how Oliver Shillington's been playing, especially last year. He showed tons of improvement from his potential and everything. So I love to see it from a player that young, and I really hope he even expands his game to the next level of being probably a second line or maybe a first. That would be great. I would love to see that from him.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
what's
excited
next?
for that one. Anyways, but even more exciting. It's almost like exciting to exciting to exciting, exciting.
Yeah.
This one I was so happy to see. I was just pretty happy. Andrew Mangiapane.
Oh, this one made my day.
Mr. Eat Bread. Perfect. 3
Yes.
years.
Eat
5.8
bread,
AAV.
boys.
Okay. I wish this was a bit higher in the years. I wish it was almost a 4 or 5 year. I can't complain. That AAV to me is spectacular. You're
I'm
gonna have
happy
to
it's
pay him
under
around the
6.
6 million.
That's
He scored over 30. I think he can do it again. I love him. I love his heart. You know what? Like he's 5'10", I think, but he plays like he's 6'2", right? Like
mhm.
he's always there.
He
Gets
is
in
a little bit
everyone's
of a
skin.
scrapper. I gotta admit,
Love
he's a
him.
little bit of a scrapper. I love it.
Like that is a hockey player right there, man. Like I love him, man. It's so nice to have him. I think, you know what? 3 years, I might have to get a Mangiapane jersey, man.
Do it.
But at the same time, Hubert will get okay. Well, so we're gonna
We'll
get into
get
that
there.
later.
We'll get there. It's so
Anyways,
tempting to talk about, isn't it?
it
So
is.
tempting.
It is.
Oh
As
my
it just
god.
happened, right? Too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
literally.
Mangiapane is great. So yeah, what do you got there for us?
All right, so Mangiapane, I've really liked this player like for a long time, and I was waiting for him to make the jump. He made the jump next. Put up 35. I think he could hit 40. He could almost like he could probably hit 45 next season if he truly tried. And
I think I think with line combinations, 100%. I mean, does he play with Huberdeau and Lindholm? It's possible. I think him and Toffoli might switch around and stuff. But then again, like, he has some good complementary assists with Backlund Coleman, and then of course him on the wing. So I think there's some options there, and I think he might be complimented a lot, especially if he is on a line with Lindholm and Huberdeau, who like to pass the puck a lot. So let
yeah,
me say,
that is true. But it's going to be hard between that because I think Sutter would also want to like switch around Tyler Toffoli and Mangiapane a lot between those two lines because you obviously saw last season what Backlund, Coleman, and Mangiapane could do on a line, and that was already deadly enough. But Huberto, Lidholm, and Toffoli wouldn't be that bad for a first. For a first line, that's not bad.
no,
It
not
will
at
be
all.
nothing compared to what it
Not
was
at all.
last year, but it's still not a terrible downgrade. I would
I still see so much promise in the line. It's not going to get the near the points and the accolades as this line previously did,
no, not even
but
close.
I still think it's an A tier line. I mean, Lindholm has got to be one of the most underrated players in the league. There's no way he's not. And this isn't that just because I'm a Flames fan. Lindholm scored 40 goals. And the fact that people are already saying, "Oh, Lindholm's not going to do as well because he was carried by Gaudreau and Kachuk," I don't think people really watch the Flames that much if they say that because I find he was a big catalyst for the playoffs. I talk to most like local Flames fans, man. I'm telling you, they all say the same thing. They're like Lindholm is such a catalyst for like that power play line and stuff. He really is he's not the backbone, but he is a big support system. If it wasn't for Lindholm, Johnny and Chucky wouldn't have got the points and vice versa, or both.
There's so going back, there's one thing I kind of want to mention, and it's like captaincy. If there was anyone to take captaincy in Calgary, it is Backlund. But if there had to
Yeah,
be a second guy, I think it has to be Lidholm because what that guy did as an impact to that line is absolutely insane. He is probably one of the most underrated players in the league right now, and I believe that with a heart. And I think he'll blow people out of the water. I think he really has to take advantage of taking this team under his wing because now he has a guy like Huberto and Mangiapane having that growth and expanding his game even more is just
yeah,
insane. And the team just lost its two best players. They need someone to take kind of in charge of the team. And you're kind of looking at Backlund and Lidholm in this scenario, trying to lead this team to a promised land, hopefully. So
100%. So Mangiapane too is 26. So he'll be 29 by the time it ends.
okay.
So he'll be in his prime. So you think of it like that, right? Like if you can, yeah, of course it would be UFA. What am I thinking? Yeah, Mangiapane. So I think see how he does. I think has an upswing. Does he get? I think he has the possibility of staying around the same as around 30 goals, or he could even up himself to 40. I
Yeah.
think it's very much possible. You see what he did with Team Canada last year, and that's when people put him on. That was when people put him on the radar. So yeah, and I love it, man. Most people were saying it was a good deal. I think so too. I think you got to pay around 6 and a half, 7 million for a player who scores about that. So
We're so lucky
I
we
think
got
it'll
to
be
pay
good.
under 6 for him. We're so lucky.
I on 100%. I really think it's because he likes this. It seems like he really does like the city,
I'm
or like
happy.
the team per se. Maybe
I'm,
not the city, but the team
I'm
for sure.
happy
But
someone likes the team in the city.
I know. Thank you, Canadian-born
Thank you,
players. It was
Mangiapane, for
so
actually
nice to
liking
us.
this city.
But for these
All
two
serious.
signings, Shillington, Mangiapane, great signings. I mean, not too crap crunched, and those two
We
weren't
kept
crap
some young
crunched.
pieces.
I love it though. I mean, to me, it's this, and I keep saying this. You probably upset her for this one last year. You gotta go for it. You have to. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you? Because you still have Markstrom. You have like signings like to me the Coleman signings. If you're gonna try and do a rebuild or retool, excuse you there, then you got to get that Coleman contract out now. Stuff like that, right? Like or somehow find a way. But with all these signings stuff, like just you gotta go. Just go for it now. Of course, now that we have like that Uyghur Huberto trade, of course you're gonna go for it. But yeah, just you got to go all out right now, and I think that's what's happening. But the fact that we're getting these deals doesn't seem like Pizza Man is too desperate. So it's kind of
No,
nice.
a little bit. And I think we should move on from Mangiapane and get to the big boy.
There we go. Okay,
Get
Jonathan
to the big
Huberto.
Jonathan Huberto.
He resigns. I didn't think this was gonna happen today, but in like the trade, it happened kind of later in the day. And Huberto, he signs for 8 years. So he does want to stay here apparently. 10.5 million AAV. So that meeting that did you hear what the tree leaving did?
I don't know. I never
So
heard.
so he went to Montreal or Quebec, wherever Huberto was like resides for the summer. And he like went there and they had a personal dinner.
Oh, I heard
And
about
talked
this
about it.
tweet.
Yeah,
This
so
was
I was gonna say he
Elliot
probably does.
Freeman.
Thanks,
Yeah, I saw
Freeman.
that tweet.
Absolute
I saw
legend.
that tweet. It was funny.
So maybe he just likes the way the management. I think maybe that helped a lot, right? But okay, what do you think about this?
Okay, so obviously, from when you and I got to see the big blockbuster trade, we were mind blown. We loved the idea of Huberto being here. We actually thought we had a chance of competing for playoffs. And then later today, I saw this re-signing, and I'm like, I'm really happy he wants to be in Calgary. But man, 8 years is it's a little bit much, in my opinion. A little bit much.
That 8
The years are a
years.
bit much, in my opinion. I get why. I get why. It is a very long term. And he's like almost 30, and he'll probably be like 37, 38 by the time the contract ends. I don't know if he'll be in Calgary, but like I'm I'm so 50-50 on this.
Yeah, he's 29 right now.
Yeah, he's 29, so 9 to 37. Yeah. It's a gamble. It could be possibly a good gamble because who knows when he starts to decline, but I'm so 50-50 on it. I don't know how to truly feel.
Yeah. So for me, I knew we are gonna have to pay about the 10 and a half. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because a player 115 points. You're gonna have to do that, hey?
We
So
paid him more than Gaudreau got.
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in the Canadian market, you have to. You can say that. It is the years, though. To me, it's like, okay, even if it was 5 years, 5 years is like just cutting it. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Oh, I would
that.
have been amazed for 5 years.
It's just that because we don't know where the team's going to be in 8 years. He could be a good leadership candidate, right? In that sense. So that would help the young players, per se, when, they come from Stockton or, if we ever tank. Somehow get someone. Tank for Mishkov, right? If the season goes bad. Well, Mishkov is actually injured for 2 months, so we'll see where he goes in the rankings. Anyways, but it's a lot of years.
Really is. That's what's killing
it's
me.
what he was looking for. But honestly, like I gotta say, the fact that Tree Living did that, the meaning I have a feeling that the way that Florida treated Huberto in the trade, I think he really respected the respect that Tree Living was giving to him. And it seems like Tree Living likes to treat his players well. It's like it doesn't seem like it didn't seem like Gaudreau had anything bad to say or Chucky, any of them.
No.
So that could have helped a lot too. But you know what? Let's be here. we have to look at the bright side too, though. This is a superstar, right? This is an elite player, right?
Yeah.
That wants to play in Calgary. So
I'll
people
give
want
him
to
the
play in
benefit of the
Alberta.
doubt.
People want to play in Alberta, right? That's awesome. So I mean, I love that he's here. I'm so happy. It's just, of course, but we know this 8 years is gonna kick us in the butt. But honestly, like I said, it's a win now. So I think you have to do what you got to do. So I'll take it. I also think it means that we win the trade because we have him signed now. Um, really hope we can sign Uyghur, of course, too. We'll get into. We can talk about that later. But yeah, got to do what you got to do. But hey, let's just see where it goes.
That's the one thing I also kind of bugged me about this situation was I personally wanted Uyghur to get signed first. I really did. Because I'm pretty like Huberto obviously said and confirmed that he wants to stay here long term. But I was the other guy, Uyghur, also wanted to sign long term as well, I believe. There was tons of speculation that he could.
Yeah, here he does. Yep.
Yeah, so now I'm looking at this situation of who do you need to get rid of to be able to sign this guy long term? And there's like a few players that pop into my head that we could possibly get rid of this offseason and be able to make more room if you plan on doing an extension. So T-Dog, I want to hear your thoughts on this. What are the possibilities that you could see this team moving players around?
Okay, so I think, and these are the most common ones, the Lucic and the Monahan deal.
Oh boy.
Monahan, because, it's unfortunately he's had a big drop off. A lot of it is from injury, pretty injury ridden. Same with Lucic. Now, the thing is, you're probably going to, Lucic, his contract ends next season. So once it's done, it's done.
Doesn't Monahan as well, though?
Monahan's ends as well. Yeah, so UFAs. So you could just let him go. But you might want to trade for assets, right? If you can. I don't know. Monahan probably doesn't have much value. But the thing with Lucic, like I feel like a player like Lucic, you almost want to maybe keep him, maybe on like a 1 year, 1 million, something along the lines of that, right? Because I think he's a good locker room guy, veteran leadership presence there is awesome.
Is your grinder.
But it's 100% too, right? But now as well as maybe let's look into our defense category, right? Like we have Hannafin, Anderson, Tanev, Zadorov, Uyghur, Shillington, and Valimaki. These are our 7 so far. Mm-hmm. That's supposed to be. Of course, right? We don't know what the 7th might be Mackey or Milosh, like we said. Do we re-sign Michael Stone? We'll see, right? But what can happen is maybe you do trade one of these, maybe to keep Uyghur. You have to trade a player. Maybe I wouldn't want to, but maybe you probably get value out of Tanev, the way he plays. Zadorov.
It would be so hard to get rid of Tanev, though.
This one I would hate, but okay. I would trade Hannafin over Anderson.
100%.
I do.
100%.
I love Anderson. I love Hannafin too, but Anderson to me he's better. I just find he just plays grittier more nights.
Well, it's really hard. It's really hard with those two because technically they're both on the same line together. Anderson has more upside because he's younger, but also Hannafin is technically coming off of a Flames career year, if I believe. I think this is actually a career year for him.
It was 48 points. His highest before that was 33 in the 18-19 season.
Yeah, exactly. So Hannafin did come off a career year, but in the long run, I'd much rather Anderson.
He was a plus 27. He was a plus 27 compared to Rasmus Anderson here, he had 50 points and was a plus 28. So yeah, I mean they're on the same line.
Yeah, same line. Anderson had the better year. He has more upside, more potential.
Or plus 30, my bad. Sorry, he was a plus 30.
Oh, even better.
He was a plus 30. I was looking at penalty minutes. And look at that. He stays off. He stays out of the penalty box a good amount, like 28 for the entire season.
If you were trying to re-sign Uyghur and you had to get rid of a defenseman in that scenario, it would 100% be Hannafin. I don't want to lose Hannafin because if you look at our defense this year, it is stacked.
I do think
I've never seen our defense look this good in quite a bit. Since last year, actually.
100%. I was sad to lose Goodbranson. I love the way he played. I'll be honest. I know there's a lot of excuse me, haters and stuff. But every time I watch him live, I found he was just one of those players that he just seemed to just do the little things right. I'm like, man, it's like he was getting the puck out of the D zone a lot, like efficiently, kept the puck in, I found. And so
Yeah.
you lose him, and I'm like, oh, I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, well, 4 million. I don't want to pay 4 million.
I don't
But then you
want to
get
pay 4 mil for 3 years at Gabranza, man.
so I thought we were gonna lose this, and I thought it was a big loss until you get Uyghur back. That's a whole different thing. But I really do think our defensive core right now is gotta be top 10 in the league. I think top
Oh,
15.
well,
I think
because
it's honestly higher, but if I say top 5, I'm gonna get absolutely murked.
well, I wouldn't even say you get murked because like the Flames were ranked probably one of the best defensive teams last year.
Oh, and what's for the whole season? I think Sutter has much to do with it too, right?
Yeah, that's the scary part. And then you add a guy like Uyghur to that. It's like it doesn't
Yeah.
change a whole lot, but that's a serious upgrade to a crazy defense that you already had.
But man, what if I think we are supposed to be like a Sutter type defenseman.
Oh, it's even. Oh my god, I can't wait.
And he's apparently puck moving too, so that's gonna be nice. But yeah, honestly, because Hannafin would probably give you some good value. Tanev would definitely give you value too for what he is right now. I think people love eyeing him. Like I love Tanev. He's seriously like one of my favorite players on this team. So
If
much heart, so much dedication. But I just think you get more value with Hannafin. I think that Hannafin, because of his age and just maybe like the style of his defense play, I feel like Hannafin you get more value out of.
I also think in that scenario, I feel that Tanev is more useful in a playoff situation than Hannafin. Nothing against Hannafin in playoffs. He is kind of rocky in playoffs, but I trust Tanev way more.
Yeah.
He is more of he's probably one of the most underrated defensive defensemen right now as well. Like I'm not gonna lie, this team is kind of filled with some underrated players, but maybe that's a little biased. That might not be at all. So yeah,
I don't think it is. I mean, look at our like top 6 forwards and our top 4D.
yeah, and our
Right? Like
goaltender.
100%. I mean, everyone's gonna reference it back to the plus, but you gotta look at that regular season, man, and realize like there's a reason why they were there. And I think they can come back and make it come back to that same similar situation.
They
I really
could.
do think it's possible.
Oh,
It feels much more. I feel so much more confident with this team now than I was for say when the Gaudreau thing first happened. Easily, just feels like things are being added. Like puzzle pieces are starting to fit in again.
yeah.
After it kind of got like chunks of it thrown out because like the 5-year-old went on the table and started smashing around.
Yeah,
I
Brad
don't know.
Tree truly loves playing with Flames fans' hearts. It's like
100%.
oh,
I was gonna say so. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but yeah, defense is good. Okay. Let's go into forwards. I mean, if Lindholm wanted out, I guess you could definitely trade for assets. I hope not. I love Lindholm. Please, I'll stay. Easily, probably my favorite player right now on the team.
yeah.
Yeah, I really think does Coleman have any value? I don't know. I think Hannafin's probably the one you trade, to be honest.
If you had to
Have
trade
to.
someone, I think Hannafin might be your best bet, just like you were saying before, based on his age and his defensive play alone. A lot of players would look at him as a first or a second line defenseman automatically. And especially with his career high and that plus minus, it like people would probably drool over him and you could probably get
Oh,
some really good value out of him. Like
I wonder what I don't even want to think about what teams would want him, but I really 100%. I think people would pay a little bit because if they're in the market for a left-handed defensemen aren't no right-handed defensemen,
mhm,
but man, he would solidify a lot of a lot of second or even some first line pairs.
he really
That's what I
would.
think. Well, I was also looking too. Like, let's just look at our cap here. Hannafin makes 9.4 point. Sorry. Hannafin makes 4.9 mil. Anderson makes 4.5. 5. Tanev makes 4.5. Zadorov makes 3.75. Uyghur makes 3.25, which will probably go up more. And Shillington makes 2.5. So,
Wow,
like,
that's like
this is
surprisingly
really,
low.
those are really happy, healthy deals, man. I mean, RD, man, I really do think that can go a long way again. I'm very confident in it. So we'll see how it goes and stuff. But
I'm
that'll be
very
nice.
excited. The Flames have made some pretty good signings so far. Huberto, I'm still 50-50 on it. I still got to think about it, but I'm happy we recorded this as soon as I was thinking about it because I had some things to say.
There we go, Huberto. So let's see here. 30 goals, 85 assists, 115 points in 80 games. The season before, 55 games, he scored 61 points in 20 goals, 41 assists, 23 goals, 55 assists, 78 points, 69 games. Nice. In 2019-2020, 92 points in 2018-2019, 30 goals, 62 assists. What I'm trying to get at here, the past 4 seasons, he's been a point per game player.
100%.
So, I mean, hey, he is. I think he's still underrated in some sense too, right? Like playoffs as well. Like people very much have an opinion on him because he apparently doesn't show up in the playoffs. So, welcome to the club.
Literally. I wouldn't even
right
say
in,
he's underrated though at this point. I would
No, I
say
don't think
probably
anymore, but
I would possibly say going into next season, based off his performance, second in points, you could probably look at him as a possible top 5 left winger in the league next year. And that's not that might sound crazy to actually think, but that's really not.
very well possible.
It's totally possible.
I don't see any reason why. I mean, you wouldn't, right? Especially with what's crazy too is like, oh my goodness, man, we have a lot of like options with our wingers.
We really do.
I was just looking at this, like, because I know Lindholm plays wing sometimes. He'll center it for sure the first line, but it's like Mangiapane can play right wing too. Toffoli plays primarily right wing.
I think he
So
could go left though, if I'm correct.
yeah, it says that he can play both. So I love that, man.
Dude, we got a lot of
100%.
options on wingers, that's for sure.
Like I know we're all looking at the future too much, but we should definitely look at the now, even though the contract really does scream future, it being 8 years. But right now, I think we're gonna get a $10.5 million player.
Yep.
We're gonna get the goals.
One way or another, this
assists.
offseason, we did get a $10.5 million player. And
We did.
like another thing you also got to look at is you're kind of right. We're kind of looking into the future right now after seeing this 8-year, but now we do have to look at the now. I think this is our like go big year as well because it kind of was the beginning of a big like go big year, but that kind of that happened, and I think we need to also take this situation as another go big or go home situation.
Yeah. Well, again, like I think just because with Sutter and everything, of course you have to, but
100%.
the team is solidified to be it. And the thing about Huberto is I think he has assets from that combined Kachuk and Gridgeau's play style, right? Goal scoring ability. He's a great passer, but he's physical and he's fast, man. And I think, man, having that body presence is gonna be nice to have.
It really is.
And he's gritty, man. He is competitive. He wants to win. It's gonna be perfect. I think that fits right into Sutter's system, right? So it ain't no messing around. And I just seen a few things we saw him like he wants to like play competitive and like he wants to win, right? So I don't think he also wouldn't have signed if he didn't see that this team had possibility of becoming championship caliber.
Yeah.
Right? Why would he? Because he wants to win and he has that leverage. That the type of player he is. He has the leverage to be like, okay, I'm only here for the 1 year. Send me off come trade deadline, right?
Yeah.
But he stays. So he's got to see some promise in this team.
Oh, 100%. And you and I are even looking at this team, and there is potential promise all around in our future to now, and I guess technically in your past, yes.
100%. I guess before we can end up, let's just look quickly at the forward group now.
All right, go ahead.
So the center, of course, would be Lindholm. Then it would be Hubert on the left wing, and then let's just say Toffoli on the right wing. But then you have Backlund, Mangiapane, Coleman.
Yep.
Third line would probably be like, let's say Lucic, Dubé,
Monahan.
Monahan. Yes, true. I guess Monahan will be back. But here's the thing, though. Off IR, you have to make some room. So maybe you have to make a trade. He's still on IR. But he's not on LTIR anymore. So I think that cap does go towards it, right?
I think.
I can't remember.
I think so. It is the
If it's
offseason.
if it's LTIR, it doesn't count if I'm correct. Yeah. Towards
Yeah,
the cap. I'll have to see that again. So, anyways, yeah. So Monahan, that's true. On the third line, that's not terrible. I mean, the fourth line. I mean, Lewis will be on there. I really do hope Ruzicka. They put Pelche and Ruzicka on the roster there,
I
and
actually
I
don't
love that.
mind that. I don't mind
I
that.
don't want that at all. I don't think you need. I mean, I would still love if you could go out and get like Sonny Milano or Evan Rodriguez. I think that would solidify your third line. Oh, it'd be amazing. But I would love to see some of these AHL call-ups too, right?
Yeah,
Uh
it's getting close to that time where you could possibly call up from your WHL team. Like seeing Peltier there is not really that surprising to me. He had a really good like year last year with
oh
Stockton,
yeah.
and now
So many players.
I gotta remember they call them Calgary Wranglers now. That's gonna be
I
interesting.
know it was like the Heat Stockton. But the thing is like when people how we were saying how our people were saying it's like how it was working in the Calder finals and in the AHL finals was pretty much whoever wins between the Wolves and the Heat are gonna win.
Yeah,
They were just that stat, but he was just dominant. Like the points they were getting, like Phillips was scoring at will, Brzezinski. Um,
Dustin Wolf had like probably one of
Wolf.
the best AHL goalie seasons in like quite a bit.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was all around play with Stockton, but Chicago Wolves were like neck and neck with them. So honestly, that series that doesn't surprise me. Whoever won that one, obviously Chicago won, but Stockton Heat did have a lot of potential, and I still love that we do. I'm so
Yeah,
happy.
well, it's just nice to have like you can pick from the farm team, right?
Yeah, it's nice
That's
to have that.
so nice. So, well, hey, we'll see how this goes. I mean, Flames season's looking more and more promising the more it comes closer to the actual deadline, and I'm excited to see. I don't think Tree Living's done, man. I mean, does Uyghur get signed?
I
It's possible,
It's possible.
but I have a feeling a trade or two or a signing is in place. I have a feeling one more forward asset's gonna be going to come to the team. I would maybe I'm just hopeful. I just want a Sonny Milano or I want an Evan Rodriguez. I just think like just they're there. They're there. I
Don't
just
don't
I,
worry, but to be honest, time will tell, right?
we'll
Because
see, hey.
I guess we'll have to see. And that will wrap up Flames Talk episode 7 today, boys. Thank you guys so much for enjoying. Actually, you know what? I introduced. What am I doing? You go ahead and then exit
Perfect. All
this.
right, boys. Well, hey, I mean, guess who else is available? Phil Kessel.
If
I know
we
that,
make
and
the
ladies and
room,
gentlemen,
if we
thank you
make
very
the
much
room,
for
get Phil Kessel for me, please. If we can make cap
yes.
room, please get Phil
All right.
Kessel.
Thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys got this far to the podcast recording, wherever you're listening or watching, please comment hashtag Phil Phil the Cowtown or something.
Phil the Calgary.
Yeah, there you go. Phil the Calgary, Phil the CGY, something like that. Phil the Thrill. That'd be amazing. But hey, thank you guys
Kessel
very much for listening.
YYC.
Phil the YYC. There you go. Exactly. Perfect.
There we go.
I think he'd fit right in, man. I think he'd love the Stampede, bro.
I
There's
think so
always
too.
they got like what those jumbo dogs, right? Those like 12
Deep
inches.
fried everything. Like,
Perfect, man.
you know how it is.
Dude, I would love to see Phil, man. Can you imagine?
Oh
Maybe
my god.
imagine if he like came back, he like comes back, right? His season gets like a 30 goal scorer again. Comes like a 30 goal scorer again.
Well, I gotta give
Man,
him credit.
that'd
If it
be
was with
amazing.
Arizona, it would be a much upgrade for us
Oh
too.
yeah. Like I understand that he didn't have a great season this year, but I mean, look what the team he's playing with. I honestly think though, like I'm not even joking. He plays on a team that is in the playoff run and stuff, and actually has some assets. I think he probably does score about 20 again.
I wouldn't be that surprised,
Yeah,
especially if he comes to a town like this. But I
exactly.
guess
But
we'll have
hey,
to see in the future, right?
exactly. But hey, a man can dream. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening, watching, whatever you were doing, or whatever platform you are consuming this content on. Thanks again very much. You can, of course, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Buzzsprout, Spotify, TikTok. So there's probably a few more that I forgot, but those are the main ones. And hey, if you like this content, leave a nice little thumbs up or a comment too. What did you think about these signings? What do you think about these trades? Any speculations? What do the Flames do after this? Hey, I guess we'll find out later as we get through the summer here. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening, and we will talk to you guys on the flip side.
Hang loose, dudes.
Peace.
Peace.